Welcome to Employment Law This Week. I'm George Whipple. When is travel time compensable? That's what two opinion letters from the Department of Labor's Wage and Hour Division address. Evolving work environments have created uncertainty for employers in this area of the law. Epstein, Becker, Green's Paul DeCamp tells us how things have changed.
When the Department of Labor began dealing with regulating and defining what constitutes compensable work, the common scenario would be that a person would perform all of his or her work activities at a single location, essentially in a single stretch of time, perhaps broken up by a meal or two or some breaks. Now what we're seeing is work being performed in non-continuous blocks during the day in some instances, sometimes in different locations, and sometimes spread out across the entire day. And that leads to new issues about what is and is not work at the margins.
Some of these new issues are addressed in DOL Opinion Letters FLSA2026-9 and FLSA2026-10. The first answers a question about whether midday travel between an employee's home and work office is compensable in a situation where the employee performs work at both locations. Epstein, Becker, Green's Eduardo Quiroga has more.
The DOL was presented with three scenarios. One, where a non-exempt employee works from home before coming into work to avoid traffic. Another, where an employee volunteers to work a special assignment and requests to perform the assignment from home before his regular commute into the office in order to avoid arriving early or staying late at the office. And another, where an employee leaves work early to catch a bus and continues to work at home. The Wage and Hour Division Administrator opined that in all three scenarios, such midday travel would qualify as normal or ordinary commuter travel, which is not hours worked under the FLSA and its implementing regulations, and importantly, need not be compensated as time worked.
Opinion letters have no binding force or any effect on the courts, but they act as guidance for employers on evolving work environments. FLSA 2026-10 addresses a different issue, the question of whether travel time is compensable if the employee is working while commuting.
The Wage and Hour Division's administrator opined that, based on the information presented, time spent receiving pages or assignments would not be considered compensable hours worked, as it is incidental to the employee's use of an employer-provided vehicle for commuting. In contrast, time spent calling clients to schedule appointments and scheduling other field service engineers would be considered compensable hours worked, as it is not incidental to the employee's commute, but rather integral and indispensable to the employee's principal work activities of installing and servicing equipment at client sites.
Thanks, Eduardo and Paul. The current administration announced a relaunch of the Opinion Letter program in June 2025 and has issued a total of 12 opinion letters so far this year, with more expected in the remainder of 2026. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.